Okay, a couple of things. As much of a dick as he's being about it, Kenichi is right. And more than that, he's taking a Voltace machine with this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are here, back again, with Voltace 5. Now, it has been a while, since we watched the first 4 episodes of Voltace 5. So, with that in mind, I did a couple of things in the back end to, well, one, catch myself up with what I may have forgotten, but two, also set myself up to be able to keep watching this forwards and have stuff to rely on. So, first thing is the board. This is going to be a show I'm going to be doing a board for. Hopefully, it turns out better than my first attempt to do a Magic Knight Rayearth board. As you can see, it's the normal board colors: green for allies or friendly relations, red for enemies, blue for family, and, well, I always find it kind of hard to do a board where they're a really associated team, because it's hard to group the team members up in a way that allows me to do the red lines of enemies, especially when there's multiple enemies, because so far, Voltace 5 has been the enemy of the week kind of show. But we have, what, Prince Hynel, Catherine, Jangle Unchained, sorry, Zool, motherfucker, sorry, so many jokes come into my head. Probably because, Zool from Ghostbusters, Jangle sounds like Django. Gardo is actually the first of the beast monsters that I saw had a voice actor credited on behind the voice actors. Has nothing to do with the actual show. Sometimes behind the voice actors just misses people. I thought to myself if I was going to take screenshots of those past characters and add them to the board. And I thought against it, again, only due to my experience with Magic Knight Rayearth, where those past monsters didn't mean anything at all. I think the possibility of Gardo actually meaning anything is probably because he was a swordsman of enough status that he was granted horns. Sorry, I'm gonna wait till I get to my notes, because I have notes. That's the second half of this. Until I say the name of the race, because the race name is so confusing in my head because I go to a real world nationality in my head every time I go to say it. We have Ipe Mine, of course, who parents we already know from what, last episode? No, 2 episodes ago. But I also have information that he is in fact related to Professor Hamaguchi. So there's that. General Oka and his daughter Megumi Oka. And I've said this on every other show that I react to, and I'm going to say it again now. I apologize ahead of time for mispronouncing names. It's something I do all the time, no matter what country your name comes from. I will mispronounce it. Good luck trying to solve that problem for me. It's probably not going to be worth your time. Anyway, the youngest kid, Hiyoshi Go, their mother, Mitsuya Go, who is, of course, dead now. Daijuro Go, their father, Kentaro Go, who is listed as having left to try and solve the problem peaceably, even though he himself says they're going to try and invade us. And I believe he states, if I'm not back in 2 months, consider everything I've gone wrong and progress on the Voltace 5 project. Doesn't state that he's dead, so at the moment, missing, not dead. And of course, the lead of the group, Kenichi Go. I could have put a red line between all of these people in the Voltace 5 group, but technically they do everything at range, kind of like Reed Repulsa from Power Rangers. So technically this guy and all of the other enemies of the week are the only ones that have actually attacked them. So yeah, probably going to try and do the same thing I've been talking about with every other show, which is including a link to an image if you want to see this board as it develops over time. And I'll just update that every new video. As I said, though, I took notes. I re-watched the first 4 episodes before this. So I took notes on those first 4 episodes. So I'll have a notes build up already in place. But to discuss that, they mention somewhere in space is a huge void. From this mysterious mass of darkness comes forth a demonic race. And then they say 14,000 light years away. Funny note, the Large Magellanic Cloud, our closest extragalactic neighbor, is actually 14,000 light years across. Unfortunately, they say away, so it's not referring to that, as that is 170,000 light years away. If I was to make an educated guess on where they come from, based on the information from the intro, I'd have 2. One is ESO 37-01, which is a globular cluster known as one of the faintest of known globular clusters, and it can be located in the constellation of Chameleon. The second one is M10, or NGC 6254, which is also a globular cluster located in the constellation of Ophiuchus. Its original founder describing it as a nebula without stars. I believe these fulfill the descriptions of being in a void, as both of these globular clusters reside 14,000 light years away from Earth, into the halo of the galaxy, essentially residing in the void beyond that which would be considered in our galaxy proper. The constellations with which they reside also just add thematics I feel that were appropriate. Chameleon, they are aliens that look humanoid. Or the other one being a nebula without stars, a void in space. While making sure I got everyone's names as I copy, I'm using... the copy I'm using doesn't have the first appearance character name subtitles right. By that I mean the Japanese text that appears over top of character the first time they appear. The version I'm using doesn't have a subtitle transcription of that image. I came across info from the magazine, I think it is, Roman Robo Anime Climax Selection, that says that Hamaguchi is Ippei's maternal grandfather. So I've incorporated that into the board, which is what I was describing before. This little blue line connecting him to his daughter. Then they married, had Ippei. Boom, there we go. Da, 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 da. I'm still opposed to the concept of spreading Boazan culture by invasion and killing anyone in your way, like Heinel indicates. There's a reason civilization games have a different criteria for culture and domination victories. Boazan is the name I keep getting mixed up in my head, because the nationality that comes to my head is Bosnian, but we have Boazan Ian. So it's adding a letter, and then it's like adding another Ian to the thought I already have in my head. So I apologize ahead of time. 1, if you're a Voltaise 5 fan from Bosnia, or 2, if I just say Bosnian at some point by mistake and don't catch myself. The Voltaise 5 team, their training is kind of insane in retrospect. Like, what were they training to do exactly? General Oka calls them Earth's last line of defense, and the officer in charge of the training facility thought it was so important that in midst of the Boazgian invasion, he gives orders to shoot anyone leaving their post. These 5 are being trained in ground-level assaults. Vehicles, animals, hand-to-hand weapons, guns, etc. None of which is going to come into play in the first 3 episodes. and only tangentially when Kenichi needs to try and use a personal defense technique with the Voltes 5 machine itself. I would have thought the thing to do would be to train them in craft they'd be expected to pilot, or something close enough to it to translate. I know later on we get told that they have like simulators that their dad made for them to that they trained in for them to pilot, but they spent a year doing something on the ground that has no aid to them whatsoever so far. List of casualties of the invasion: the U.S. Mediterranean Fleet, the U.S. Antarctic Air Force, the African Republic, apparently all of Australia, the Statue of Liberty, the World Trade Center, London, 3 million dead in Italy, and Buenos Aires. Interesting to note, when Heinel declares the Boasians bow down to nobody, his eyes go red and almost reptilian. Like maybe his human appearance isn't his real appearance. I don't note it anywhere else, but also when he's yelling at his crew, one of the times I think it's his right eye goes like bright white and then fades back again. So I don't know. I think I was going with like a reptilian thing here with this note of his eyes going red, but apparently sometimes his eyes just freaking change color. I don't know. As I stated back when I watched this the first time, the element that confuses the hell out of me is how the Boasianians invaded, overwhelmed the entire Earth's military inside of a day, and Heinel declares a loss when the Voltes 5 defeats just one saucer and one of their assault machines. I mean, they've got thousands of saucers. It feels like they could overwhelm the Voltes 5 at any moment, and yet Earth takes the victory on this. Those were the notes about episode 1, by the way. Now I've got episode 2 notes. Even though the narrator is also now saying the Boasianians lost the invasion, the episode starts with Zool trying to find the Voltes 5 base. We see him clicking from view to view of the Earth, and I can only think that he must be looking through various saucers still flying across the Earth's surface. Because otherwise, I'd have no clue how he's getting these shots. If that is the case, then they still have a massive air advantage. Not for nothing, though, Zool's search was basically Google Maps before Google even existed. 1977, right? This show, I mean, not Google. So, about Kentaro Go, he knew what the Boasnians were up to before they ever launched their assault on Earth, and chose to go to their homeworld to negotiate with them. We know that Boazin is about 14,000 light years away. Needless to say, but it would take about 14,000 years to travel 14,000 light years traveling at light speed. Meaning that Professor Go has access to faster than light technology. Either he's had contact with aliens before now, or he is so advanced from the rest of Earth that he's invented his own faster than light technology. We know the Boasians must have faster than light as they are hopping from galaxy to galaxy. So the question remains where Professor Gao got it. Kenichi was right about what their mother would want, of course. She did, after all, send them to a year of training where a little kid was forced to fight sharks hand to hand. I don't mean to diminish her own personal sacrifice that she makes in the episode, giving her life to save her children. I just mean to say that she clearly didn't place their safety above the importance of saving the world. And Kenichi recognizes that in her wishes for what they should do. Alright, notes on episode 3. Ippei hating his mother and extending that out to hate all mothers is wild. That is a massive transference that we thankfully didn't see in the first 2 episodes when he was dealing with Mitsuyo. I imagine he didn't have much chance before now to come up with those feelings, though, since he claims he was taken from the rodeo and put into this year-long training. This seems like the first real downtime since the invasion for problems like this to come boiling up to the surface. I understand that we are building a rivalry between Kenichi and Ippei, but it's insane for Ippei to use Mitsuyu's death to take swipes at Kenichi when 3/5 of the team are her kids. He's not just picking a fight with Kenichi with those words, he's going to have the whole family looking to kick his ass. Which, of course, is what it comes down to later at the gravesite after they repair it from Ippei's stray weapon impacting it. Not sure why Ippei decided to go there again, with all of them blaming him for it. Looks like he was asking for the fight to happen, if not for the fact that he was defending himself saying he didn't do it on purpose. Voltes 5 was made in 1977, and very much seems like it was set in the future of that. I'm not sure how old Ippei is meant to be, but I'm going to guess young adult, so say 20? So let's lowball this and say Ippei's parental flashback is from the 1950s. The fact that they are huddled up next to a horse and wagon is crazy, even if you said Ippei was in his 40s and this was a shot of the 1920s. I'd still be incredulous. By the 1910s, automobiles were filling the streets as the primary source of transit. I get that you were trying to invoke the feel that Ippei is from the Wild West, with his rodeo persona and whip, but I find his origin laughably out of date. And now my episode 4 notes, which is the final episode we watched before we catch into episode 5 now. Golema alloy, the strongest alloy in space. Not sure if it's going to be a reoccurring thing, but I'm just making a note about it just in case. The same way I talked about faster than light before, it's just me making a notation of a thing. I'm not going to knock it, because the show is the show after all, but the butterfly return would get your hands sliced open if you actually tried it. Mythbusters actually did an episode about it back in the day, and all of their dummy hands got sliced up. I recall an episode of Legend of the Galactic Heroes Gaiden where Reinhardt does it, but he uses armored gloves, and even the armored gloves get cut into. I know it's a different show, and I'm saying I take Voltes 5 as Voltes 5, so not mocking it, I'm just saying unrealistic to the show about extragalactic aliens invading the Earth and a giant robot fighting them off. Yes, I know what I'm saying. So at the start of episode 4, the Earth Defense Forces have a patrol fleet looking out for the Boasnians, which I guess means that the massive invasion fleet retreated and let the Earth military retake its airspace. Despite the fact the people in control of the invasion still have their secret lair on the planet and didn't retreat. Despite Gardo being their master swordsman, capable of slicing missiles in half, for some reason he can't hit a far more I don't know what I said there. He can't hit the far more slower moving Voltes 5 machines flying past him. And lastly, it's interesting that only Kenichi controls the Voltes 5. I'm guessing I'm too used to Power Rangers stuff where all of the Rangers control the Megazord together. And yes, I know most of the audience for Voltes 5 is probably from Sentai fandom. I'm American. I grew up with Power Rangers. That's as close to Sentai as I get. But yeah, those are my notes. That's the board. So I say let's go ahead and hop into it for the first time in a long time. Voltes 5, ironically, episode 5.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Sorry, it's that weird. I don't know what the noise is. It's like I don't know how to describe it. You take the little wooden ball sticks and you tap them on the board, and a bunch of little slabs, and they make different noises. I'm probably describing something extremely simple that even a child knows what the name of it is. Life of me not coming to me. And I apologize, even to those of you watching this live, because we do record these live on typically Fridays at 11. Xylophone, yes, thank you. Also, to explain, we record these live on Fridays, so there's an audience, and that's who's telling me, Phil Fisher in the audience, that I have to talk over the opening. The xylophone effect for me is the guitar solo from Magic Knight Rayearth. Just the best thing. So, is this a new invasion, or is this from Gardo's attack? I'm gonna guess it's a new Earth ship. So that or the Bosnians are bringing in a battleship. Wow. The 70s, when kids were competing in scale model competitions. So the battleship is going to be his scale model and not an actual battleship. Well, because you can't form the Voltes 5 unless everyone's together. And you've already encountered enemies you couldn't defeat solo ships. Okay, a couple of things. As much of a dick as he's being about it, Kenichi is right. And more than that, he's taking a Voltes machine with this. Yeah, no, Kenichi was right. Kenichi's just a dick about it, is all. Yeah, also not for nothing, your base is wrecked at the start of the episode. Oh, wow. Jangle is actually paying for his failures. A third chance, actually. Because he's already failed twice, technically. So I said they can't vault in. You need all of them together. I don't know what Catherine's second chance would be. He almost cut her head open, giving her her other chance. Oh, no wonder he thinks he's a shoo-in. He made a model of the actual craft that's there. I mean, not for nothing. Also, his normal dress is Seaman's outfit, so. Looks like there's exactly two of his ships out there. Somebody else built another one of his. Oh, looks like his is the smaller version. That's what I'm talking about, the little Japanese name box. You don't get translations of those. See, if this was a more American show, they would have sent Jangle out there to compete with him in model building. Just completely lose the thread of the invasion. I think technically that would be like Ippei's move. I think this is the first time he's used those. Usually it's the frigate missiles. Oh, don't call for help, Dr. Tamagotchi. Sorry, Hamagotchi. Just standing there stupidly staring at the screen. Oh yeah, there's gonna be a big "I told you so" coming later. Oh, did they put Jangle's brain into a beast machine? I'm talking about every beast machine is like immune to normal attack, including the attacks of the Voltes machines. I'm betting that's the dock that's holding the actual battleship up. I guess I was proven wrong. This is literally the situation where his fighting sharks underwater comes in handy. I mean, legitimately, those deaths are on your head. They warned you what would happen. You gotta face it, you're a kid who can no longer have a childhood anymore.
勝利の宴の準備を申し付けましょうぞ。下等な地球の哺乳類め、我々に勝てると思うのがそもそも大間違い。
So I'm always staring at his eyes now to see if his eyes change. I think there's something there, like his humanoid form isn't his actual form or something.
重視を攻撃するんだ。
ケンイチ、ヒヨシは放っておくの？
やむをえん。
そんな、ヒヨシはどうなるの？
さあ、みんな急ぐんだ。命令する。直ちにヒヨシの救出へ向かえ。重視は私が引き受ける。心配するのは任せておけ。博士、俺たちの任務はボア山星人を倒すことです。ヒヨシは勝手な行動を。
It's more important that you save the other vault machine.
だから救出しないのか。救出しないとは言っていません。まず重視を倒すことが。
If you can't form the Voltace 5, you're gonna lose to every fucking other thing.
弟を見捨てるような奴が敵に勝てるものか。お前たちが力を合わせて戦ってこそボルテス5戦闘隊員なんじゃ。全力を挙げて日吉を助けてこそ心が通う真のボルテス5だ。行けケンイチ、騎士は必ず敵から守る。アンさん、ケンイチ、親父の言う通りだぜ。俺は弟の日吉を救出するんじゃない、仲間の日吉を救出するんだ。それでいい。
It's an interesting establishment of the chain of command that we haven't previously seen before, not since Mitsuya died. Oh, instantly proven wrong.
しまった、オープンゲートがやられる。無理だぜ、発進は。このままでは蒸し焼きになってしまうわい。よし、一か八かだ。メカのミサイルオープンゲートへぶち込むんだ。扉を壊せば発進可能だ。
Ironically, 2 years later, Mobile Suit Gundam, they do the same thing to their base. Now, granted, that's like 30 episodes in. But also, you know, written by the same guy, so...
やったぞ。どうだ。バリアオープン。重心を追わせるな。ビッグミサイルで攻撃しろ。
I don't know, it actually seems like it would be better to have it chase them so the base doesn't get destroyed. And then the Voltace 5 can destroy both machines at once. It's funny, Heinel I had myself drawn as has a sword. I think I have a sword that looks just like it. You know, give me a pair of horns and a sword, and I could be doing this every episode. Yeah, but what about all the other kids that died?
その間に日吉の救出を頼む。やめろ、ケンジ。1号機1機で勝てる相手じゃないぜ。一平、頼む。あいつははみ出し野郎だが、可愛い弟だ。頼むぜ、一平。
ケンイチさんは本当は弟も。
He's literally doing it because the professor said that they need the frigate.
行くぞ。大二郎めぐみは俺の援護をしろ。
I have to believe that Megumi is just reading every situation wrong. I mean, that or I just don't understand these characters as well. Again, that's the thing that fires out fast and hard enough to rip through the beast machines. And he just grabbed it. Is it the skull ship?
急げ、センターが危険だ。早く帰れ。よし、まだか修理は。急げ。
Oh, very convenient that it has a machine to repair itself on itself. It'd be real dumb if it's not a xylophone, by the way. It's the thought occurred to me. If I start playing a xylophone on screen alongside. I do also have to wonder, since I had to rewatch the last 4 episodes, what some of these characters are doing in the transform mode, knowing that Kenichi controls the thing. See, like, he pulls back, and then he slots in with him. Are they just staring at each other while the Voltes 5 is fighting? Because they're not controlling it. They've already established that Kenichi is controlling the Voltes 5. So they're just in the crotch, cockpit to cockpit, staring at each other. Hilarious sentence, by the way. And just in case, I still hate the one attack Voltes 5 has. If it happens again this episode, I'll point it out. It happens every episode, so I have to think. That's the second time they've done that now. What, they merge? Don't know what you're saying there in the subtitles. Yeah, but that's gotta like be the worst merge I've ever seen. Okay, never mind. I thought it was wrapping around it. It's just different parts. Okay, never mind. Not the worst. I've seen worse. Oh, I like that. Like a Hapen battlecruiser from Star Wars. Sorry, it's the gun roll noises he's making as the machine is moving is made with the same inflection that he makes actual attacks with. I appreciate it was Megumi who goes like that because she's technically in the feet. Oh yeah, Gulliver's traveled. I like that it has multiple forms now they've introduced the transforming beast machine. Well, at the same time, I think this is entirely pointless. I mean, because they have it, like, dead to rights on the ground. They could have just attacked them in its humanoid form. Okay, I didn't know what Ultra Spark was gonna be. Disappointingly little for that. Oh, here we go. Here's the attack. I hate the tops. The tops are so dumb. If I could have my preference, they would pull out the Sword of Heaven from the start of the fight and just end with the Sword of Heaven. And the V-Slash is fucking brutal. Especially if you consider these things have intelligence. Now just imagine yourself getting chopped from one shoulder to your crotch and back up the other side. It's essentially like a seppuku, you know, in, sideways, up, but turned sideways. So, that to that, or that.
戦艦ミカサを復元したいんです。お願いします。どうもありがとうございました。ミカサの復元募金です。
Also, he hasn't learned jack. Okay, never mind. I thought they were at the other location.
でも私5回も寄付させられたのよ。
そういえば俺は6回だ。
俺なんか8回だぜ。
皆さん貯金を全部お願いします。いいわよ。ご協力お願いします。
You should really be getting a lot more I told you so's than donations.
お願いします。ご協力。
I guess it's a real development from Ippei to have gone from the guy who literally tried to whip Megumi in one episode to somebody who isn't even, he's not whipping the child for trying to make him get donations, I guess. So, you know, improvement. I don't know, not a lot here to say, other than the aspect of what they've proven here is that they can't go anywhere unless they all go there, and they all have to go there with their Voltaise machines as well. But I guess they can't go there either, because to do so would be to leave the base undefended. And you can't leave the base undefended either. So they just literally can't go anywhere. Okay, interesting to note. The way I'm getting subtitles for these episodes doesn't work for the next time on. But I'm not opposed to watching things that I can't understand. Anyone who knows the Astro Boy, the Astro Boy watch through that I watched was either 2 or 4 episodes of Astro Boy that had no English subtitles. So I've done it before. I'm not very good, but I've done it. So I guess this is the most spoiler-free way to watch a next time on, is to watch it when you have no idea what it's telling you is happening. So visually, it looks like Ippei may have gotten his horse into trouble, because we know he has a horse from the training facility, or possibly from the rodeo. And they attack, and he's in trouble because it looks like he's even worse off than the kid this episode. because he doesn't have his Voltes machine. He has a horse. I don't know. Possibly what we're doing here is we're just going to be learning the same lesson twice, I guess, because it feels like, again, they can't go anywhere. Because they can't leave the Voltes machines behind. And you can't separate the Voltes machines because we need each Voltes machine together to make the Voltes 5. But we also can't leave the base undefended. So the Voltes machines have to be with the base, which means you have to be with the Voltes machines, which means you have to be at the base. Not much of a life, I guess. But then again, they spent the last year in seclusion training, so what social life could they possibly even have at this point? I guess at best, Megumi can be visited by her dad. And that's it. That's the only social interaction anyone gets is when Megumi's dad comes for a visit. Well, anyway, that has been episode 5 of Voltes 5. We're back in it, so I will say we record 2 episodes of these at a time. So for whatever notes or board updates there'll be, won't be next time, will be every other episode from now on. So, that said, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?